Hello folks, Paul here, UK Rails and More. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. You join me today at the farm track that just goes under the lower level of the two embankments. And as you can see, work's been very much underway on the lower level embankments of the river module. So there's the two Class 66s, the British Rail colour and one of the DRS ones. And then above is the upper level line where I'm assisted by Chad Vara today. So yeah, as you can see, there's been quite a bit of work going on. I've made that tree myself and also started to just develop that small parking area and then the landscape on the other side leading up to the upper line and also the field as well. I'm leading back to the locomotives. So yeah, if you want to see how I've done this and put this together, stay tuned. I will bring you back shortly. Bye for now. Hello folks, just for a very quick update. This scenery is starting to dry off a little bit now, which is good. A couple of things. I'm thinking just for the time being, this may just be a little car park area where it's going to have some fencing, just setting it apart from the field. Yeah, just a little bit of a where people can park up and what have you for walking around the local area and stuff like that. This tree, it's just a branch that I selected from the garden. Looks rough approximate size for a tree, the framework for a tree. And what I wanted was it to have overhanging branches and some that give some kind of height up against the side of the viaduct, and hopefully that should help with some shrubs below it and lower level trees to obscure that part of the structure inside there. So yeah, that's general idea of how that's coming together. Other side's starting to dry off now, which is good, and there'll be more stuff put on there, probably another tree on that side as well. Another quick thing that I've been just doing as well is actually making some fencing. These are just a big pack of matchsticks, and I've worked out the approximate scale and height of them just by putting a Land Rover against the side of them. And the idea is I'm going to have some of them which will be at the end of the car park. They'll be this colour, so they look as if they're the new fencing with brand new wood. And then the ones that are running along the embankment, they'll be made of the same material, same matchsticks, but those will be painted much darker, and some of them will be damaged where they meet the edge of the embankment. There's just a view of the embankment as it comes out, and the sunlight's at an angle now where it's coming through the window, which is just showing the contrast of the embankment. Okay, quick update. I'll carry on and speak to you again soon. Bye for now. Okay folks, so the idea is with this tree is I've positioned that, glued it in position. I'm going to actually try something different with this. I'm going to actually try building it in situ, just so I can kind of tailor it to that cavity there. There'll be some bushes at the lower bit, but obviously obscuring the higher bit as well. So yeah, I'm going to build it in situ and then build it up gradually over time and see how that looks. Hello folks, welcome back. So just another brief update. So I've now built some fencing just to cordon off this little area, and the idea is the fencing here is going to be new fencing that the landowners produced to basically keep the any horses within this field. There's going to be a couple of trees there, smaller ones, and the big tree working on in the background. And the idea is there's going to be some older fencing that's going to be similar style but painted, maybe slightly broken in parts, and that's going to be just protecting the embankment. So I've just brought you back as well because this light seems to show the embankment better as it's drying off a bit now. So I've got that shaded area. Yeah, quite pleased with the new fencing. I just did the scale of it against the vehicles, not measured it out specifically. I've just sort of got an idea of what I think would look right for the kind of fencing that you use to keep sort of larger animals in pen as well, or in place. And then the other thing I've done is I've just, you can't really see it too well on here, but I've cut through with a Stanley knife around the edge so we can just make this a proper a bit where the vehicles can get access without an unreasonably large step that they've got to get up. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the update, and I will bring you back for more very soon. Bye for now. Okay folks, welcome back. So yeah, first of all, just before I begin this video, you'll see now that the field is dried out. I'm quite pleased with the effect of that. I'm going to be putting some more small shrubs just over to the right there around this area. As you can see, I've put a fencing up there as well. That's just been made out of matchsticks. My plan is I just wanted to see what the area looked like generally. And as with a few things, my idea is I want to make as much progress with the overall module as I can first of all. And then what I'm going to do is go back to all these areas and fine detail it with things. So for instance, the matchsticks, obviously, scale wise, you know, 2 millimeters to the foot. It would make them about a foot wide, the panels. So clearly I'm going to be updating those as well, things like that. But it should be really easy to do. But I just wanted to see what the general effect was like, so I can kind of check that the rough scene is looking good. Thanks for your comments in the last video, some really good comments about detailing and stuff like that, which I will be doing that, so really appreciate that. Thanks very much. But yeah, this area I'll be detailing the road as well more, and there'll be a bit more work going up on that banking and also the bridge as well. And of course ballasting, that's all to come. I've got the ballast ready to go, so that needs to be done as well. This area, there's going to be a bit more work to do in this car park area, but generally speaking, I'm quite pleased to have that as just one of these kind of not even really a hard standing, maybe bits of old concrete and stuff on there, but really one of these just car parks that's kept, you know, reasonably very basically maintained. It's just more of an informal parking area really. So I'm going to do a bit more to incorporate that into the road, and a few more scenic details. I've got some logs there, and one of my ideas is maybe to have a bit of sort of tree cutting work maybe on the embankment, as I did on the lockdown layout, which people seem to like, where I basically made the appearance of some tree stumps, as if there's been some felling done recently, and you've got all of the sawdust from the chainsaw activity there. So yeah, more work to do on the viaduct as well. And then I'm very much looking forward to building the metal structure going across the span with the central span in there as well. Yeah, really looks good when you just get the locomotives on. I'd forgotten how enjoyable it is when you see the scenery start coming together. I'm very much aware a lot of people these days, which I don't even remember it being about, to be honest with you, when I did my first layout. But everyone seems to use static grass, and that looks really good on a lot of layouts. So it may well be the case that I'll use some of that on here as well, but possibly quite sparingly. I don't want to use it for large areas. I do generally like the effect of just the scatters. It's like a traditional way of modelling that I remember as a kid, and it's kind of really brings me back to it, where you can just really adjust the shades as much as you like. And certainly for some areas where it's not particularly overgrown like this, you know, generally speaking, you can't really see the full depth of it. So for most shots, it looks pretty good, I think. Anyway, let me know what you think, or any thoughts you've got on the static grass use and other methods. This tree I'm quite pleased with. I think it's reasonably okay scale wise. None of it's actually stuck down yet. I just wanted to see how it looks, just with little bits, a few little bits growing out of the side of the viaduct there. And basically I wanted to just form it so that, I don't know if you can see it, but in there you've got bits of real branches visible as well. So I've been quite sparing with that, but the general idea was to make that area very overgrown so it hides the structure inside there. Now I'd had a few good suggestions on one of the videos for that area, and my own initial idea was doing something more like a town scene. Well, not a town scene, but using it where you have the have a building structure inside, and a few people had said that that was you know, quite a good idea. But certainly on this one, my final idea I went with was one suggested by John Warner of Piccadilly. So thanks very much for that. It's one I'd not thought of, but generally obscuring it with trees and undergrowth which I do agree, I think it works better with this kind of rural location. So yeah, that's big thanks for that, pleased with that. And certainly some of the other suggestions and ideas, Andy Moreland Model Railway, he came up with an idea for the scene as well, based on my original idea, where you could actually have like a bit of an information point, but I'm possibly going to do that at a different location as well. So yeah, a lot of good ideas. I always appreciate the feedback on these things as well. So yeah, today's job, basically what I'm looking for is over this side, I want to build up the scenery on this side, and also under there a little bit as well, and then probably do some work on this area, but I may leave that a little bit later. And the idea is the more I can do and get together on that side, it's going to take a little bit of drying time, but the sooner I can get that done and start drying out, the sooner I can get the other side scenically landscaped like here, albeit, you know, a bit more overgrown on the other bank, I would imagine. But the sooner I can get that done, the sooner I can make work on the bridge, the crossing, and then I'll sort of go back and fine detail all of those areas as well. I nearly forgot, Irish 66 fan, thanks very much, gave me a good suggestion about some of the watering effect you get on the viaducts, which is something you certainly you see a lot of, where you get moisture running down there as well. And again, that's one of the other things I'll be doing when I kind of sort of super detail this area as well. Maybe get some farm animals, people, different things, work on the road, pavements. But yeah, just for now, I want to get the basic scenery done as much as I can, and then I can go back into this whole module and then just really smarten up particular areas. One of the rationales for getting it all done as soon as possible is that once I've done that, I can get the two boards on either end set up, and then I can actually run some trains on both the lower level main line and also the upper level peak forest type line. Won't be completely peak forest, it's going to be you know, a line leading towards quarries. So, you know, it may be that that also has some specials running along it, and I don't know, possibly some local services as well. But yeah, lower line is going to be more concentrated on the freight trains and potentially some kind of passenger express trains as well running along there. Okay folks, welcome back. Just for a quick snippet, I mentioned previously what I do sometimes is just keep my eyes open for everyday materials and see how they could come in use, into use for the layouts. And one of the things that I want to be doing on this river is reinforcing the banking that you get on a lot of these rivers where they're more subject to erosion, and often it's on the kind of the outer bank of a curve where there's some kind of structures and stuff that they need to protect. So you'd probably get them in areas like this, or certainly in areas like this where you've got a very close to embankment. So yeah, a lot of the time you'll get this kind of corrugated kind of, I don't know what kind of metal it would be, but ironwork or steel or what, I'm not exactly sure, but you certainly get it on the edge of bankings. So that kind of thing I was thinking, where you get it in spaces. So certainly it needs to be weathered, and it would need to be kind of, you get that real rusty colour to it. But I thought, generally speaking, that would not be a bad material for it. Now this, just in terms of ideas of where it came from, it's a coffee cup. So yeah, I've just basically cut that in half and then gone through it and then opened it out, and then obviously the weave, you can see, goes diagonally across it, so you just need to open it up so that you get the weave going vertically down it. But I thought with a bit of scenery and a bit of weathering as well and stuff around it and bushes and growth overhanging it, it just made that real nice typical kind of tight banking. So probably in an area like this, I don't know how well you can see it from that angle, but incorporated in like that. Okay, hope you find that useful. I'll bring you back in a bit. Bye for now. Okay folks, so I've just used some of those little panel pins, basically veneer pins, which are they've got a very small head on them, just to pin in that corrugated metal reinforcement just into the board at the top there. I've just cut through that bit of Scenic, and obviously that can be built up. What you also sometimes get with these things is you get where the actual land, where the water's got under them and eroded the land behind them as well. So you can actually have significant gaps behind them. So I'm potentially going to do a bit of that in places as well, but that's just something to do, and then just build the landscape around it. The other bonus with that, of course, using that, is it's going to give us a wider river at that point, because the landscape's not going diagonally down into it or steeply down into it, it's actually going vertically down into it. So it'll give us a bit more width to the river at this point as well. So yeah, I'll bring you back in a bit. Bye for now. Hello folks, and welcome back. So yeah, that was a bit of a tricky job, to be honest with you. Just fitting that the corrugated ironwork or steel work, whatever it is, around the edges there. And then I've just been trying to incorporate it naturally into the banking as the banking falls down, where it reinforces the bits that have eroded away. And then we've got quite steep banking just behind it, where you can see some erosion is going to be. I'm not too worried about gaps, because I'm going to be filling any gaps with bits of foliage, which is going to hang down over the top of this, as you'd often see. And then some bits I'm going to have some additional erosion that's taken place, which is going to leave a gap at the back where it sticks out, where it needs repairing urgently. So yeah, continued it along to the end, and I'll probably leave it there and it'll just become normal banking, because you can see there's not much high ground just beyond it, and it's just a case of continuing this bank. I've left the top there. I'd made a bit of a hard standing on the top there for one of the houses that I'd built earlier, or the couple of terraced houses, and I'm a bit unsure about that area. For now, I think I'm going to leave it, and obviously that bit where it sticks out there, that would be retaining kind of you know, reinforced stonework and stuff as foundations for the building. But yeah, I was thinking, obviously it's fairly rural this side of things, but you could get away with it probably being a little bit suburban the other side, maybe a few houses if that's a slightly built up area. And in any case, the plan is that this one's going to join up to eventually, obviously after I've done the running loops that are going to allow us to run trains on both levels, so 4 trains going all together. The idea is that the station, the lower level line, as it goes off to the left, will go into a station there, and the upper level line, that may be visible for part of it if it crosses the river again, and then that'll go into a tunnel, is my general idea, because that's at a higher level. So it's higher level and it's going to be going into the higher ground. So yeah, for now I think I'm going to leave that hard standing. I did think about chopping the edge off and just making it one incorporated bank, but I think I might get away with just having some housing there. And I must admit, even though when I do the city module, there's going to be lots of high level trains running sort of through over rooftops and at kind of office building level. For here, I just think it might make a nice little bit of interest to see one of the models that'll build up, one of the scratch builds or something there, just to give that little bit of definition. But if it doesn't look right, then we can always change it and just chop it off. That's the idea behind this. It's going to be very changeable, so I do little bits first of all, very simple, just to give us a basic shape like I've done there, and then afterwards kind of fine do it a little bit better, and then polish it up even more afterwards with a view to, you know, static grass maybe in the future, and then obviously do the river as well. So yeah, I'll bring you back in a bit. Bye for now. Okay folks, so just to bring you back for a quick update, there's the initial. I've done the paper mache with the glue, with just a very sort of slight water mix, just to make it a little bit more workable, but with the idea that it shouldn't hopefully take too long to dry. And there's that bank that I've the reinforcement that I've tried to incorporate in. I think it'll look a lot better once it's painted, you know, like a blacky dark sort of rusty colour in places, I don't know. Yeah, not too sure about that bit where it juts out there, but we'll see. And that's going to be, there's going to be a lot of undergrowth there, but again, like the other stuff, I think I'm only really going to get a good look at it and see whether it needs adjusting once we get the paint on it, because the paint is then going to give it a real good appearance of how it should look. And then if I need to make any final adjustments, maybe build the bank out here a little bit, I can do. Or then again, I can always do that with you know, scatter sort of thing. It doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be done in the paper mache. Again, I could just sort of fill that up with the materials, just make those deeper really. Is another potential option of what I could do. And then you can see just at the end where it comes to an end, I don't know, well, you can see that over there, that I've just incorporated it in as if the bank's coming in, and that's the bit that's affected by the erosion. Perhaps you get some backwater swirling round and kind of eroding it more in that paint, that bit. Obviously I just need to continue the bank to the end of this module, and then other things I need to do, just some of the details. So I need to build the structure for that road or that underpass there, and the side walls of that, and then also I need to build that area up scenically as well a little bit, so that's going to involve a bit more paper mache. And then just things like in the insides of there, that brickwork needs doing. So I've got some masonry paint, brick red masonry paint from Wicks, which I'm going to be trying some of that with the varnish running down to make a kind of a dark kind of water effect down the insides of it, which you get a lot on the insides of brickwork. And I've kept some of this material just from the cups that are cut up, just because I think it's got a bit of potential with maybe a little bit of work, maybe some kind of steps, the basis of some steps with a little bit of work to them. But I'll just have to look into the scale of those things again, just to make sure they're accurate. And then the road again here, that's going to need a little bit of attention, because I think the scale's slightly out. But again, it's just one of those things of trialing things to see how they work out, and then I can always update them in due course. My other idea here was for to have a similar fence coming along here, but have that painted a sort of darker colour, have the odd panel where it's slightly broken down and stuff, so it looks like a much older fence that the whoever the landowner is, you know, is sort of happy with it, that it's not too bad, but there it's been replaced, so it's like newer. So I'll probably keep it that kind of colour. And again, it's no issue kind of redoing that with the smaller scale, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. But just for now, quite pleased with that little scene. If you do have any suggestions or other ideas, I'm always pleased to hear them. It's really good, that, and it's helped certainly with things up to now. So and you can often get things that people suggest that you've not thought of that are really good as well. So yeah, any comments, I'll always get back to you. And again, thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Good luck with your own layouts, and I'll speak to you on the next one very soon. Bye for now.